And then maybe after all this, I would want to EQ it a little bit more. I'll use the same one. I want to have a little bit of clarity. Again, I'm just following my instincts. I'm not doing anything else than just finding the frequencies that I like. And maybe it would be cool to have a delay on this one as well. I'm also going to use the stereo delay from Cubase. Maybe I can have like this. That can work, but also reverb, I mean delay, is a really cool thing to have as a send. Usually I use the Valhalla delay, but now I'm taking the challenge and using the stock ones. And then what's really cool is that if you now if you put like a Foreman shifter on this one, this is not going to be a stock one, unfortunately. But if you put like this one, vocal bender, for instance, if you Foreman shift the source before the delay, then the delay becomes at a lower formant than the lead vocal. It's like so now the lead vocal is just clean, no Foreman shifting at all, but I've Foreman shifted the delay to make the delay sound a little bit more like a ghost in a way. And if we also just put in a little bit more reverb. And now you could even, I mean, this is absolutely crazy, but now you could just, I usually do like this, just one which I call vocal master, and I'm sending everything into the vocal master. Because then you can really have fun with this one. And right now, I would really feel like using some plugins that are not stock, but I'm gonna do it. Oh, here we go. Yes, I found a multiband compressor. I like heavily processed vocals. So now, if you listen to this, and now after all this, you could experience with pitch shifting. This is unfortunately not a stock plugin. And to me, this sounds like something that could be a really, really cool drop if I use a transgate. Now I'm moving away from the stock plugin thing because I just wanted to show you guys. I get a little excited when I hear a melody like this that can work as a drop. If I go to Splice and I just find a cool kick. That was cool. And now I kind of want to hear how this sounds in a higher tempo. And then you could even duplicate this track and pitch it up so we have one high. then if we just add a cool bass on this one. That's cool. And then sidechain. I mean, that's pretty cool. So now that all happened because someone sent over a lyrical idea, you know, which shows the power of good words, like to inspire good melodies. Like what I do is that I go to Spotify and I look at old song titles, like, because sometimes titles can inspire you to find new melodies, you know. Like they even managed to pull off How Deep Is Your Love, which is obviously one of the most iconic songs from Bee Gees, but Calvin Harris managed to make a song called How Deep Is Your Love. So you should never be afraid to reuse old song titles. So what I do is that I go in here, like 70s, all out 70s. I just go through the list and I just see, You're the One That I Want from Greece. I think that's a great line. It sounds, I mean, I would hate to use the word cheesy because to me, cheesy is a positive type of word, but it sounds like a very, like a love song, but that could be really dark. Like, I don't want another song when you are the one that I want. You know, like, then You Are the One That I Want. You're the One That I Want can be like a beautiful song. You can just reuse that song title. It's a totally different type of song. So, also here, just random, Hopelessly Devoted to You. For some reason, I'm in the Grease world right now. I know this much is true. I'm hopelessly devoted to you. Na 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 do. I'm hopelessly devoted to you. Now, you can just use that again. You can take away hopelessly, 'cause I am devoted to you. You can reuse that old song. And then, I mean, I'm not saying that you should just go in and steal titles, but you can use them to spark melodies, and then you yeah, I mean, you just use them to spark an idea, and then you can move away from it. You know, like Let Your Love Flow by the Bellamy Brothers. Like, wherever you lie, wherever you go, just let your love flow, just let your love flow. Whenever you let your love flow, let your love flow. All of a sudden you have a Tiesto type of track, you know? Even though I'm not saying Tiesto would take that, but it could potentially be like a dark, dancey thing. So that's how I work, at least. I just see things, I hear things, I see people saying something on television, and that sparks something. It's like even Instagram. You can go into Instagram and see pictures of people posing for the camera, and they just need to put a caption, and the caption is "Meet me on the other side," or "The grass is never greener on the other side," stuff like that. They put stuff like a caption, and they put a lot of effort into making those captions good. So to me, that's like a candy shop of inspiration. So yeah, we're moving towards the end, but I would like to say if you, I would like to just hear if you want me to do something more or if you have any questions. Uh, AI is a really, really cool question, Rajib. Um, AI is definitely a very important tool for me when I work because if I write songs that I'm aiming towards a female vocalist or female artist, then it's not always easy to showcase an idea with my voice, especially if the idea is to make it female. So then it's very nice to just run it through an AI to make it appear more like, how do I say it? So it doesn't sound like I'm just trying to sing in a female range. So I'm using AI every day, like, but I'm never releasing songs with AI. I'm just using them as a tool when it comes to showcasing ideas to other writers or to publishers or whatever, to just because most people can't read your mind, obviously. So if you hear like, oh, I hear BB Rexa singing this, then it's very difficult to showcase that with a middle-aged man trying to sound cool, you know. So it's pretty much just a tool for showcasing. Mm, any other awesome projects you could show us, like you did with Faded earlier? Well, uh, not at this time, but maybe if another masterclass is being hosted sometime. Which AI tool do I use? I use a page called Lalals. Lalals. I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's really good. I would most certainly want to do another class. I think it's really interesting. I'm not used to doing this at all, but talking to you guys inspires me into making music. So that's really good. I'm gonna see if there's any more on the actual Q&A list. Do you also use FL Studio? No, unfortunately I don't, but FL has become really, really, really good. Uh, I remember when FL Studio was just referred to as Fruity Loops, which is like decades ago. Uh, and it used to be just a tool for track making. So producers didn't really consider it to be like a good enough tool for a full music production process. However, now I think they are one of the best production tools available out there. And yes, Adrian, lalals.com. That's the one that I use. Did you write Written in the Stars by Tungevåg? Yes, I was a part of writing that. That's also important for you guys to know that none of the songs that I have worked on are songs that I've done on my own. It's how do I say it? It's a result of many minds thinking at the same time, and uh, the that's the biggest gift you can have is having people around you that can make you better and come up with ideas that you wouldn't come up with yourself, and that can spark something new. And so I always work in team. Um, let me just see here. Do you get inspired by foreign music, African, Middle Eastern, to make new songs? Uh, well, I really love African and Middle Eastern music. However, I haven't intentionally tried to do anything that sounds Middle Eastern or African. I would love to do it though. I would love to deep dive into those musical landscapes, and because I think it's important sometimes to, well, a lot of times, very often, I think it's important to let yourself be inspired to do something completely different than what you're doing. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't keep doing what your instinct tells you, but sometimes, like, I remember having a publisher that's like 10 years ago, and he when we started working together, the first thing he did was to send me into a lot of sessions with urban producers and urban topliners and artists, which was something that I absolutely didn't know anything about. And when I came back from that whole run of doing urban sessions, I was telling my publisher at the time, it's like, why the hell did you put me in sessions with so many different genres that I have not a clue how to make? And then he was like, well, that was my intention, because I listened to your demo catalog and I found your melodies to be a little tunnel visioned. So I wanted you to be put in a situation that you don't feel comfortable, because now you never need to make urban music ever again, but you will always keep it with you somewhere in the back of your mind. So I think that's important, to force yourself into doing something that you don't feel comfortable with. Like David Bowie said that comfortable is never good. You should never release anything unless you're minimum 10% insecure if it's good or not. So, any vocalist you would love to feature in an Alan Walker song? Well, I'm not officially a part of the Alan Walker team. So I'm just fortunate enough to have worked with him over so many years on different projects, but I'm not officially part of the team. So, I mean, so just as like a listener, like a fan, as I definitely am, I would say I would love to hear him with like Ed Sheeran, for instance, someone that you wouldn't necessarily think right away that would be a perfect match, but I would love to hear, and I would love to be part of making that song if I was lucky enough to do that. But yeah, Ed Sheeran would be really, really cool, right? Do you have a Walker idea? I believe I do, but I don't really know what number I am. Uh, um, okay, so last questions. We're gonna do 5 more minutes of questions, and what do you think of Aura's voice? Well, I think Aura's voice is absolutely gorgeous. There's she has a very, very, very special vibe to her voice and her whole being. I was fortunate enough to work with her on Dark Side, and I remember I went to New York City to record her vocals, and she was this young girl that came into the studio, but with a voice that sounded like she had been a professional artist for 20 years already. So yeah, who is your inspiration for songwriting? The Beatles is like Paul McCartney and John Lennon is fantastic. But like modern producers and songwriters, Max Martin, obviously, which might be a cliche to say. What Alan Walker songs did you do the vocal? And Alan replaced that final version. Well, a lot of songs have been demoed by me on the gibberish side of the songs that I've worked on. But after the lyrics have been written, then they usually find someone else that suits better for the finished demo. Thank you for all the kind words, by the way, about my singing. I mean, you're pumping up my confidence on the singing part. I don't really consider myself to be a singer. It's just been a coincidence that my voice has been featured in 2 songs by Alan Walker. Any tips for new producers? I would just say, just don't focus too much on focus on getting the vibe first. Don't focus too much on a kick drum or a snare drum or a hi-hat, because that can be replaced anytime. Just focus on getting that one key element that carries the production, because it's kind of like a Red Hot Chili Peppers song. If you take away the guitar riff, then the song wouldn't necessarily be as good. So, like an element like that, like have a cool guitar riff, and to find like a cool sound for that guitar. Like I told you earlier about recording on the phone, or recording in a totally different key, in a totally different tempo, and just messing with it, make it sound weird, make it sound like something that that's just a little weird. Mm. And you don't need to start with gibberish. That's only my tools. That's only the way I do it. A lot of people write lyrics first, or record gibberish vocals with na 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 or la la la, which is also absolutely fine. Everyone has their own go-to methods. But to me, gibberish is extremely important. If someone came and said gibberish is illegal from now on, then I wouldn't be able to to do much work. Let me see here. Do you EQ ambience atmosphere? Because I do, and one of my friends and I got into an argument because of it. Well, Diane, I'm gonna be a little. I'm not gonna. I think if you're focusing on EQing ambience, then your focus is wrong, in my opinion. Then you should focus on the key elements, because the EQ ambience should just be for fun, for vibe. And if you focus too much on that, then you take away a lot of energy from what's actually important, because nobody listens to a hit song and says, "Oh my God, I love the way you mix the ambience on this one." Do you ever revisit the same themes or ideas in your songwriting which you left long ago, Rajiv? Yes, every day. Every day I go through, like, I just go through voice notes from years back, and it was like sometimes a song, just the timing isn't it just isn't right for it, and then it's important to revisit it from time to time. Yeah. Well, Nas, you can take as much time from me as you want, because I find this really, really interesting. But I think we're moving towards the end. I'm gonna have to put my kids to bed at some point soon. So,
Yeah, I think one more question, guys, and then we can let Jesper go.
oh yeah, but I'm enjoying myself. What's your favorite instrument while coming up with new songs? Well, that changes from week to week. like I remember this. My mom and dad. My mom and dad gave me this for Christmas 10 years back. And I was like, oh, well, thank you. It's a ukulele. But this song, I mean, this instrument has inspired hundreds of good songs. And 10 of them have probably been released. So this is probably one of the most valuable instruments I've ever had. So, like, it was 6 months where this instrument was the most important thing. And then I got tired of it. And then it was piano. And then it was guitar. And then, like, there's so many ways to work. Like, one of the an artist that I work a lot with, Sophie Loud, that has also been touring with Alan now. She's fantastic, and she's really inspiring because we were having a writing session some time ago, and we were hitting our heads against the wall, and was like, "Fuck, what are we gonna do?" And then she was like, "Okay, just give me a metronome and let me make the track with my voice." And then she was like, and just singing something over it and making percussions with her voice. And that inspired a top line. So I feel like you should just have fun with whatever. You can make a good song with everything. Sometimes I even just listen to instrumentals for other songs and I make new top lines over them and then I produce them again. Or I send the acapellas away to someone who's never heard where I got my inspiration from. So they have no idea what the chords are or whatever, and they find a new different vibe. Like referencing what I just said earlier about always sending stuff to other people. Like every time if I'm not, I mean, if I'm not in the room with the Alan Walker team and we're bouncing melodies and ideas back and forth to each other, then those songs always end up being the best because you get the everyone's musical landscape all combined into one melting pot. So yeah, Saxby, thank you also for being here the whole masterclass. I mean, I've been just talking and talking and talking, but I assume that's probably the point.
Oh no, it was fantastic. Thank you so much for your time today. It was super interesting and you covered so much awesome ground. And I think everyone, yeah, I can speak for everyone that everyone loved it.
Thank you so much for that.
It was awesome.
I know that I keep falling back and forth between topics and subjects and whatever, but I really hope you guys got something out of this and that it maybe inspired you into doing something.
Definitely. It was super inspiring and it was super, super interesting. I personally didn't know that there was so many different steps involved. It was so, so cool.
Yeah, it's so many different ways to go, and I think that's pretty much my conclusion to this is that there are no rules, and
Mhm.
there's you can if you just follow your instinct and just have fun with it, dare to ruin something to maybe make it
Mhm.
interesting, you know.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think it's awesome advice. And I know like a lot of walkers are very musically inclined, great singers, great producers, great musicians. So this is like an awesome class for them to hear it from you on how to make great music.
Yeah, I'm very happy for that, but it's also my final words will also be like it's very important for you guys to understand that I'm just one piece of a big machinery of great people. So it's important that none of you think that I would in any way take credit alone for anything that I've been part of. That's a result of great people on every side. And I think that's the most important thing. It's like you can do a lot of good things on your own, but it's a lot better if you do it with great people.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's awesome knowing how the team all operates together.
Yeah, the Alan Walker team is phenomenal. It exists of so many great producers and writers that I'm very fortunate to be able to work with.
Oh, awesome. And I'm sure that they're very fortunate to be able to work with you as well.
Thank you for that.
Well,
So have a great
thanks,
night, everyone.
thanks so
Thank you
much,
for
Jesper.
thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much for such an awesome session. And guys, I'm just putting in the form here for you guys to enter in your emails to get the certificate for the session. So please do add your emails to that form link. We'll also email everyone with that form. And thank you everyone for attending. And thank you so much again, Jesper, for hosting this awesome session.
Thank you guys.
Great.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good
We'll,
night.
we'll draw an end.